It's possible that to outsiders, guitars just sound like guitars. I would say guitarists and guitar makers are not satisfied with the sound, so they're always searching for better and better, and it's possible too. My name is Michael Edgeworth, and I'm a classical guitar maker. I wanted a guitar that you could recognize, like people would know what they were getting, and you could look at it and know who made it. The rosette is inspired by this craft called Tumbridgeware, which only lasted about 100 years in England. The first thing you do is you map out the design on graph paper. A genius programmer friend of mine made this program that I can do it on the computer, and it not only allows me to visualize the pattern, but also it tells me how much of each wood I'll need to order. Each piece of the rosette is a tiny piece of wood, basically. And each color, each shade is a different species of wood. For me, it's kind of a way to show how much I care about the guitar. So I've put in a lot of love into the design. It doesn't affect the sound. The most important part of a guitar is the sound, but the other parts also need to be perfect enough to inspire people to pick up the guitar. So the design and the aesthetics. Also the playability. It needs to function as an instrument. Because there are so many components that make up a guitar, basically every little thing has an effect. Sometimes afterwards, even though the bracing is the most important, after the guitar's built, I can still affect the sound by changing other things after, apart from the bracing. So you could consider the classical guitar as an instrument similar to the piano, because the player is playing whole pieces on it without accompaniment. It's different though, it's a lot more intimate. The sound is not so loud, obviously. Also, you can make a guitar that sounds perfect, absolutely perfect, in a smaller room, but then in the concert hall, the treble notes in particular often don't quite travel as far, so you end up with a bass-heavy sound. It's such a difficult thing that guitarists and guitar makers are searching for that balance. I think things got more interesting when I started making on my own, because then, without the guidance, I had to test the limits of the guitar myself. So the first guitar I did get rid of. And after that, most guitars that I wasn't happy with, I did the same thing. Eventually it got to the point where if I made a mistake in the guitar making process, I would just either redo it, the mistake, until it was perfect, or if it was too bad, I would stop then. It's just about uncompromising high standards, I guess. So there's one maker, David Rubio in particular, who kind of inspires me. It's traditional to kind of take the design of your teacher's headstock and then change a little bit. Mine is inspired by Rubio's headstock a bit of a guitar maker called Paul Fisher, and I think I've come up with something that looks traditional but is also new. I think my pillar drill is from the Rubio workshop originally, so it's been passed down. It's just like genetics, but in craft. I have this thing that Rubio built a guitar for Julian Bream when he was 31, if I got my dates right, which means I could aim to try and build for the modern day Julian Bream next year when I'm 31. So I've got some time. The Art Society grant enabled me to get this workshop in London, where I am very close to all the 4 leading conservatories, and it's a perfect space for building guitars. I would say the best test of a guitar is giving it to a really good guitar player, and they can tell you. Somebody who you can trust to tell you what's good and what's bad. It really informs my building, and it's interesting because the things I learn from them, the things they think about, are completely different sometimes than what a guitar maker would usually think about. You have to test the various aspects of the sound of the guitar. So the playability, the volume, you have to try playing it hard, playing it close to the bridge or close to the sound hole, just putting the guitar through its paces, basically. I think it's a core part of what makes my guitars how they are. It's hearing it being played by somebody, especially if I have a connection somehow with that person and they're a really good player, then it's quite a great thing.